Hey guys, so I just played through um this game, Horizon Zero Dawn. I just beat it a few days ago. I'd like to give my thoughts on it. Unfortunately, I don't have time to like review it. I have more stuff going on in my life, so I figured why not just make a little like 10-minute long video talking about it. Although it's probably gonna end up a little bit more than 10 minutes, but Horizon Zero Dawn is a post-apocalyptic game. Basically, and this might actually happen in real life too. Um, we get wiped out. Our human race nearly gets wiped out by um, machines. Um, and the main protagonist, her name is Aloy. She's trying to figure out what it all means. Why the machines took over, how the machines took over, where she came from. I'm not gonna spoil anything because, to be honest, the story of this game is phenomenal. The way it was told, the way it was paced, it didn't feel as long as it really was, and that's a good thing. It means that it wasn't boring, and it really wasn't. The presentation of the game, the voice acting, the facial animations, for the most part, were all amazing. The graphics were incredible. Um, just like the story and the characters all fit together really well. I really loved the story of Horizon Zero Dawn. I really loved the open world. It had a lot of variety in it, like in terms of the environments, not environments. Um, it had like snowy areas. It had deserts. It had canyons. It had a rainforest, mountains. Just a little bit of everything, and I really loved that. It was a very beautiful game. It was just a very, in a lot of ways, it was actually a very relaxing game. Just exploring the whole place. It was just a very beautiful, just experience. The music was amazing. I really loved the music. A few tracks here and there that were kind of not too memorable, but it's a 4 hour long soundtrack. Um, so yeah. So the story and all that stuff I really liked. Now the gameplay, on the other hand, it wasn't as stand out as the story. The gameplay it's just kind of like your average open world game. There are collectibles scattered all throughout, side quests, fetch quests, um, going here and there, collecting that, doing this. Um, it's just your standard thing. The aiming of the bow is really good. The aiming is very smooth. You get to craft new equipment, increase how much ammo you have and stuff like that. Um, you also level up, and you can unlock some pretty cool abilities. Um, and yeah, it's just kind of like it's just gameplay wise, it's your standard open world action game. I don't want to say like Assassin's Creed or or an any Ubisoft open world game, because to be honest, it's better than almost every open world Ubisoft game. But at the same time, when you play it, if you've played a lot of those open world games, it's gonna feel very familiar to you, if not a little too familiar, to the point where it doesn't really feel like it has enough identity to stand itself out in the gameplay department. All right, the concept of this game is very original, but the gameplay not so much. And I do want to point out that the combat, the melee combat blows. The melee combat fucking sucks. It's so minimal. All right, there's no like abilities to really like increase on that, like there was in like Neo, where you use a weapon, and the more you learn from that weapon, the more like moves you can do with that weapon. This doesn't do it. You have a light attack and a heavy attack, and that's it throughout the entire 40 to 45 hours, or maybe even close to 50 hours that you'll spend in this game. If you also do the hunting trials, which I fucking hated. I hated the I hate anything that's like time trial related. So yeah, and a lot of the well, almost every machine, every time you get hit, you get knocked around like a fucking rag doll, and the AI oftentimes felt a little cheap. There is stealth. You can hide in bushes and lure enemies over and stealth kill them. You know, it's nothing too impressive. It's just stealth. There's parkour. You get to climb stuff. Um, but only stuff that are like obviously to be climbed, like ledges that are highlighted with like yellow tape and shit like that. You know, like typical like Ubisoft parkour, which I kind of felt was a little too typical for a game that's this ambitious, this original of a concept to share a lot of ideas from other games. I mean, I actually wrote something down, and this is probably gonna end up being like what my Metacritic review looks like, or or maybe even exactly as it says. I wrote it down on a piece of paper. Basically, here's my entire assessment of Horizon Zero Dawn in a nutshell. What we have here is a very interesting post-apocalyptic game that tells a tale of how our current human race was nearly wiped out by sentient machines, and is one of my favorite storylines of any game this generation. Most importantly, though, this is an open world action game saturated with activities and collectibles, side quests, crafting and unlocking abilities, amazing visuals, long load screens, okay stealth, highlighted parkour, generic combat, annoying time trials, and a satisfying amount of content. It's just another same old, but still a really good one overall, as well as one of 2017's better games. The final score for Horizon Zero Dawn is an 8.5 out of 10. It's still a great game, but it could have been better. Like Deus Ex Mankind Divided, you know? This could have been a 10, you know? Could have been at least it could have easily been a 9.5, but there's quite a few things about it that I couldn't let go. Like I could not get used to how mediocre at best the melee combat was throughout my entire 45 hours of playtime. The hunter time trials were way too strict, not giving you enough time to really plan out anything. Um, and the general gameplay feeling a little bit too not uninspired per se, but uninspiring. Just it takes too much inspiration from other games that it doesn't really form its own thing in terms of feeling when you play it. One thing I forgot to mention is the design. The art direction of the game, I really dig it. I really, really do dig it. I feel like not most, but more post-apocalyptic games should look more like this, with like overgrown buildings and stuff, and with like overgrown vegetation and stuff, rather than take place in like bland deserts or just random plains like Fallout, where it just like kind of it doesn't really have any soul. Um, just the design, the design of the world and the way it all looks. It looks very for a world that's dead. It kind of feels like it comes alive. I don't know. I probably sound like an idiot, but I just love the art direction and design of the game. I will point out that like Assassin's Creed, when you uncover the world, there are viewpoints, but those viewpoints are actually like tall necks. They're called tall neck robots that you climb and you override them to unveil the world map. So that's kind of how you see the world, is by doing those. There's only like five or six of them. The collectibles themselves aren't that repetitive. There are a lot of them, But what this game does is that it doesn't show you the exact location of the collectibles. It shows you a radius, and you have to find the collectible within that radius. So it's not like exactly like hand holding. You kind of still have to find some things by yourself. It just shows you an approximate location. So I like that too. I like that too. It still kind of made you think on where things could be. So could it be low ground or high ground within that radius? Um, so yeah, man, that's Horizon Zero Dawn. All I can really say in terms of suggestions is that if you if you are in the mood for like another open world action RPG or action adventure, Horizon's probably your thing. Horizon, you're probably gonna enjoy Horizon a lot. But if you're a little tired of open world action adventures, action RPGs with like collectibles and shit like that, you can probably pass on it. Either way, it's a really good game. It was overall really fun. Very original concept. It might not end up on my top 5 games of 2017. I didn't like it as much as Neo, obviously, and I actually didn't think it was nearly as good as Resident Evil 7. It just didn't really do anything new per se in the gameplay department, just in terms of concept and story. If I don't play that many games for the rest of this year, it probably will end up on my top 5 of the year, but it's definitely not my game of the year, and I know that already. Um, so yeah. So this video turned out longer than 10 minutes, of course, me babbling on. Um, yeah, that's Horizon Zero Dawn. That's my thoughts on it, what I thought of it. Really good game, but could have been better, you know. Anyway, guys, that's it. Uh, Comment down below if you've played the game already. Let me know what you thought of it. If you have any questions about the game, comment down below. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.
The Gamer Gods!